Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. According to BBC Sport, we have increased our offer for Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho to €85 million, which equates to 72.6 million in pound sterling. Man United are in advanced talks to sign Jadon Sancho. We could wrap up the signing of Jadon Sancho in the next few days. We are now willing to meet Jadon Sancho's asking price. It said not so long ago from Sky Sports that we made an improved bid of £75 million plus add-ons. But Dortmund told us to pay a take it or leave it asking price of 77 million plus add-ons. Borussia Dortmund have said they want Jadon Sancho's future resolved before they begin their pre-season tour on the 23rd of July. Man United have already agreed the personal terms with Sancho, the agent fees have been agreed, and a 5-year contract has been agreed. He says we are willing to make Jadon Sancho one of the highest paid players at the club, and we're willing to offer as much as £275,000 a week. Jadon Sancho already has a gentleman's agreement with Borussia Dortmund to join Manchester United. We are still around €10 million short of Sancho's valuation. Now, we've been in for Sancho now for like the last 2 years or so it has been a long-running transfer saga, but there's always been something in Sancho to Man United because it's been stemming from reliable journalists. Fabrizio Romano's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga, and so too was Christian Falk from Bild. Dortmund have lowered their asking price from what they was demanding last summer. Obviously, last summer, Dortmund were demanding £108 million, and we was reluctant to meet that valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. But Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close because the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and a contract and that had been agreed. And Dortmund set a deadline last year. They said we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. But he will be a great signing for Manchester United. He'll fit in our team perfectly. He's predominantly a right winger. He's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. He's good at scoring goals, he's good at creating chances, and he's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford, because Sancho and Rashford do touch base with each other a lot. Jadon Sancho's been at Borussia Dortmund for 4 years. Dortmund paid just £7 million for him from Man City. So they got him for next to nothing, and Sancho's got a contract with Dortmund until 2023. Solskjaer has already said that he wants 4 more signings when Sancho to Manchester United is official. Now, the news on Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. The Athletic have said that Man United the most likely club to get a deal done for Raphael Varane. Real Madrid are willing to sell Raphael Varane for around £40 million, which is a bargain. Now, not so long ago, we had a £50 million bid rejected for Varane because it says Real Madrid were demanding £80 million. Man United have obviously held talks with Raphael Varane's agents because it said Raphael Varane's agents wanted a meeting with Man United this week. Raphael Varane rejected a 2-year contract extension at Real Madrid. There has been talks of a Raphael Varane and Paul Pogba swap deal, but it says Real Madrid rejected Man United's offer to swap Paul Pogba for Raphael Varane. Real Madrid do believe that Raphael Varane has already agreed a transfer to Man United. But Varane has been refusing a contract at Real Madrid. Romano said that not so long ago. Varane's current contract expires next year. We went in for Varane 10 years ago under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but we didn't get him. And Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move for him back in 2018. Varane actually wants to come to the Premier League. You know, Varane is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced, and if he came to the Premier League, he would exceed expectations. And if he came to Manchester United, you know, he would complement Harry Maguire very well in our back line. He's got a good pedigree as a player, Varane. He's won 18 major honours at Real Madrid. Being an on-serving player at Real Madrid, he's endured over 10 years with them and he's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. Now, Kieran Trippier is another player that Manchester United want to sign. Now, Sky Sports said not so long ago that Atletico Madrid want £43 million for Kieran Trippier if they are to sell him. Kieran Trippier has a release clause of around £35 million. It says we are reluctant to pay any more than £20 million for Kieran Trippier. He said not so long ago we made a second bid for Trippier in the region of £21.5 million. We had an opening offer of £10 million rejected for Trippier. It says Man United's low transfer bid for Kieran Trippier angered Atletico Madrid. We was in for Trippier in the January transfer window, but we called our interest because Kieran Trippier got banned by FIFA for 8 weeks for breaching betting rules. I think Trippier's got like 2 years left on his current contract at Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid paid £20 million to him from Tottenham back in 2019. The reason we want Kieran Trippier is because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been unhappy with Wan-Bissaka's attacking output, and we need someone to come in to provide competition for him. Solskjaer wants to strengthen up in 4 positions. He wants a striker, he wants a right winger, he wants a defensive midfielder, and he wants a centre half. So yes, Solskjaer's already decided on his transfer target. Solskjaer said he wants to make around 4 signings in this summer transfer window in order for Man United to challenge for the Premier League title next season. I'm convinced we can challenge for the title next season, providing that we recruit well in this summer transfer window. Solskjaer is aware of how big this summer transfer window is for himself, because it's very, very imperative that he gets the players he wants to recommend in. This summer transfer window is Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. But Solskjaer's, going to be getting the backing he deserves. Because obviously our board said not so long ago that they'll back Solskjaer with a new 3-year contract and summer signings, despite the Europa League final loss. And obviously Joe Glazer has promised Manchester United supporters that Solskjaer will get the funds that are available. Joe Glazer attended a fans forum on the 4th of June. It was his first attendance in like 15, 16 years. Obviously, a lot of United fans were protesting against the Glazers at Old Trafford towards the end of last season, because the Glazers have been one of the biggest problems at the club for a long time. The Glazers have been at Man United for 16 years. They bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. And just before the summer transfer window opened, it said Solskjaer had been given a 150 million transfer budget to buy around 4 or 5 new players. But next season is going to be massive for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think he's aware of that. Next season I'd say Solskjaer's got to win a trophy if he is to remain Manchester United manager. Because Solskjaer's not yet won a trophy, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017, which is 4 years ago. But if things start to go wrong next season, then I'm expecting pressure to be on Solskjaer, then he could end up being sacked. And I can assure he's not the long-term manager for Man United, and I think a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. Next season will be Solskjaer's 3rd full season, because at the moment Solskjaer's endured 2 full seasons at Man United. And Solskjaer's been in charge of Man United now for around 30 months, which is over 2 years. We recently had our financial results. Our debt risen up to like 443.5 million. Our debt continues to rise. Obviously Woodward, we know that he's standing down at the end of the year, because earlier on this year it got announced that Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club. We are going to offload players in this summer transfer window. So reflecting on that, our transfer budget will increase. There is good players at Manchester United, and there's players that have really, really improved. Now, Dean Henderson, obviously, he's a very, very good goalkeeper. He said Solskjaer has chosen Dean Henderson as number 1 goalkeeper for next season, which is the right decision, because I said Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our #1 goalkeeper. He did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. And he's got that experience behind him because he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. He's also had other loan spells before. Before the start of last season, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year contract with Man United, so reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. Luke Shaw, he's really improved. Luke Shaw was our best player last season. A lot of his games last season, Luke Shaw showed very good attacking intent. He got into very good positions. He put good crosses into the box. Provided width, created good chances for his teammates. And defensively was superb. But towards the end of last season, looked off the pace for like 3 games in a row. Luke Shaw's been at Manchester United for like 7 years now. He's had a good career with the club despite his injuries, and he still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles. Telles, I think he's a pretty good player, but I haven't really had much of a perception on him because Telles hasn't really played, has he? But in some of the games he was involved in last season, I thought he was consistent. You know, when we got Telles, I expected him to be our first choice left back immediately. We got Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto. Harry Maguire, you know, I think aspects of his game have improved. You know, Harry Maguire was a big miss towards the end of last season because he had ligament damage in his ankle. He sustained the ankle injury in our 3-1 win against Aston Villa. Harry Maguire is the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive sign at the club. We got Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester. I think Eric Bailly, you know, he's a good centre-half, but my element of concern about Eric Bailly is too injury-prone, so in that aspect, he is a liability. Towards the end of last season, Eric Bailly signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. Eric Bailly's been at the club for around 5 years now. We paid £30 million for him from Villarreal back in 2016. And Wan-Bissaka, I think he's a very good right back. You know, he's probably one of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville. And Wan-Bissaka's endured 2 full seasons at Man United. You know, we got him in a deal worth 50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. And Wan-Bissaka's just got to show more attacking intent. That's what's letting him down at the moment. But there was some games last season where he did get forward well, but defensively, he's always been superb. Scott McTominay, he's a decent player as well. You know, still young, got a lot of development in him, but McTominay is not yet on that level where I want him to be at. Can McTominay emulate to that level? Just after the first lockdown last year, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with Man United. Paul Pogba, he's really improved. We've been getting the best out of Paul Pogba in recent months because he does bring creativity to the team. And in quite a few games last season, we played him in an advanced role. He's much better in an advanced role than he is in a deeper role. Now, it recently said we want to make Paul Pogba the highest paid player in the Premier League with a new 5-year contract worth £104 million. That equates to around £500,000 per week. Now, it recently said that Pogba was refusing to extend his contract. Pogba's current contract expires next year because last season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. We actually fear losing Paul Pogba on a free transfer. We fear that he's running down his contract to leave on a 3. Not so long ago, Paul Pogba insisted that he wasn't in contract negotiations with Man United. Sky Sports News said that Man United opened talks with Pogba's representatives over a new contract. Solskjaer come out and said he's hopeful Pogba will stay and sign a new contract. Now, as it stands at the moment, he's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him, and Pogba's endured 5 seasons at the football club since he rejoined. And he's had a long-running transfer saga. Pogba's been linked to a move to PSG. Mini Oriola's held talks with PSG's president. PSG recently stepped up their interest. PSG want to partner Paul Pogba. With Wijnaldum. And Kim Pembe recently said that PSG would welcome Paul Pogba. Real Madrid have been linked with Pogba. He's been relentlessly linked to a return to Juventus. Pogba endured 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. As you all know, there's been talks of a Paul Pogba and Cristiano Ronaldo swap deal. Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for Pogba before. Mini Oriola, who's Paul Pogba's agent, he's been desperate to get, Paul Pogba out of the football club. If we can match Pogba's ambitions, I think he'd be happy to stay with us. Pogba recently said he has more freedom with France than at Man United. We want £72 million if we are to offload Pogba in this summer transfer window. Bruno Fernandes, obviously, he's very, very good as well. Bruno Fernandes has made a difference in this team. In most of Bruno Fernandes' games at Man United, he's been consistent, but there's also been quite a few games where he has looked off the pace because we've overplayed him. But Bruno Fernandes, he's our best player and he's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Fernandes has been at the club now for around 17, 18 months. Won Player of the Year not so long ago, and he's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Fernandes' current contract expires in 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. We got Bruno Fernandes in a deal worth just over £67 million from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Predominantly plays as number 10. Mason Greenwood, he's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad, despite him going a long period without scoring. Greenwood made his senior debut in 2019 and he's been a United player since the age of 7. And last season, Greenwood signed a 4-year contract. Ollie's defended Mason Greenwood a lot. I think it was the start of last season we give Mason Greenwood that number 11 shirt. Sometimes we play Greenwood on the right wing, sometimes we play him centrally. But he's got a long-term future at Man United, Edison Cavani, he's a good player. He's made a fantastic impact since he's come in, and I'm glad Edison Cavani is staying for next season. Romano said towards the end of last season that Cavani obviously signed a 1-year contract with Man United. Rashford's good when he wants to be, but there's aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Rashford's endured bad periods. I thought Rashford was out of form towards the end of last season. We've just got to keep Marcus Rashford out on that left-hand side because that's where he's more effective. I'm not keen on him on the right and not really keen on him playing centrally, but he's actually produced some good performances playing centrally. And Amad Diallo Traore, he looks a very, very good asset for the first team squad. We got him from Atlanta. You know the news, don't you, regarding David De Gea? Just wait there a second. Just need to shake my legs. Just wait there a second. There, that's better. So yeah, the news on David De Gea. David De Gea is determined to win his place back. And De Gea has not sulked since losing his spot to Dean Henderson. And De Gea said not so long ago he's convinced he'll stay at Manchester United and be Solskjaer's #1 for next season. And you obviously know the news on Pau Torres as well from Villarreal. We've suffered a blow in our pursuit of Pau Torres, because Pau Torres has insisted that he's calm on his future. He's come out and said he's focusing now on the Euros and he's got a contract with Villarreal and he's just won his first title in that with Villarreal, because the Manchester Evening News recently said that, Man United are making progress on the Pau Torres transfer and Man United are working on a Pau Torres deal. A Pau Torres deal is unlikely to be finalised until after the Euros. Pau Torres has a release clause of around €60 million, is it? So, there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.